Amineh Bahrami says her big brown eyes used to be the envy of her friends. But this is what a jilted suitor did to Amineh's eyes when he threw acid in her face.
I was just yelling, I'm burning. For God's sake, somebody help me.
The attack has made headlines in Iran because Amineh, now 31, is demanding an eye for an eye.
People like him should be made to feel my suffering.
In accordance with Islamic law, Amineh wants to blind Majid Mohavedi, the man who blinded her. The two met in college in 2002. First came his unwanted advances, says Amineh. Then came the threats.
He called me every day and harassed me. He told me he would kill me. He said, you have to say yes.
This corner that you're looking at right now, that's where her jilted suitor, Majid, used to hide. And a couple of days before this incident, she said, look, I don't want to marry you.
But Majid wouldn't take no for an answer. November 2004, as Amineh walked home from work, the threats turned to violence. This is Amineh's first visit back to the scene of the attack in Tehran.
She says she went up a little bit and then she sensed someone was right behind her.
The moment she looked back, she says, Majid attacked. What felt like fire on her face was acid searing through her skin.
So these are the clothes that Amineh was wearing that day, and her mother has kept them. This is the coat that she was wearing, and then just look at it. It is just absolutely shredded. And I can right now smell the acid. Yeah, I mean, I have trouble breathing.
Attack victims in Iran often get what's known as blood money from the culprit, a monetary fine in lieu of harsh punishment. With no insurance and mounting medical bills, Amineh could have used the cash, but said no.
I don't want to blind Majid for revenge. I'm doing this to keep this from ever happening to someone else.
Amineh's demand has outraged some human rights activists. Usually they support victims of acid attacks, but on internet blogs they criticized her. Her determination to blind her attacker is as barbaric as the crime, they write. Late last year, a court in Tehran handed down the sentence, acid in each of Majid's eyes. He's appealed the decision, but this month the court ruled the sentence stands. Today, Amineh is remarkably self-sufficient, but challenges remain. She says she can't afford to pay for her medical care, so she's turned to the internet to ask for help. She's lost her big brown eyes, but her smile is still there. Determined, she says, to get justice.
If I don't do this and there's another acid attack, I will never forgive myself for as long as I live.
Amineh's lawyer says the sentence will be carried out within the next few weeks. The attacker, Majid, will be taken in, put out with general anesthesia, and acid will be placed in his eyes. Her lawyer says the only way this will not happen is if Amineh changes her mind, all of a sudden says, I don't want to go through with this, but Frederica, Amineh is telling us that's not going to happen.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she'll want to change her mind since she said she wants to send a message so that this doesn't happen to anybody else. Will she actually be one to help administer that acid into her attacker's eyes?
She has told us that she's willing to do that, but based on our understanding, that's not going to happen. What is important to clarify, Frederica, this is rare. Acid attacks are rare in Iran, especially in Tehran, and exercising your right for an eye is rare. It's in Sharia law, but in those same laws, it's promoted that you forgive. Most of the time, families of the victims and the culprit go into court. They work out a deal for a fine and prison time, and that's it. But in this case, Amineh is convinced that if there's enough publicity surrounding this case, fewer victims will be victims of acid attacks.
Oh, my God. That is incredible. It really is. And you're right, very difficult to watch, but she's so courageous to tell her story and to reveal herself. Now, I wonder, in your piece, you talk about it's difficult for her to receive any kind of public assistance. She turned down any kind of financial help. She's turning to the web. But how difficult has it been for her to now live her life as a blind person, someone who needs someone's assistance all the time?
It's very difficult, Frederica. She's lost her sight. She was a very bright student. She studied electronics. She had a very good job, and all of a sudden, everything changed. Initially, former President Mohammad Khatami helped her out with about $50,000. She had more than a dozen surgeries in Spain, but she's got a long road ahead. She's got a lot more surgeries ahead, not only on her eyes, but her disfigured face. She has a lot of plastic surgery, so she's using the internet to try to raise some money.
What an incredible story. All right, Reza Sayah, thanks so much. Appreciate it.